Over 2,000 years ago, ancient Chinese scholars observed the changing patterns in our natural world, the climate, the turning of the seasons, and astronomy. The scholars measured and divided the sun's annual movements into 24 equal parts, creating the 24 solar terms, which were used to govern agriculture in ancient China. Even to this day, this invention still guides the lives and traditions of hundreds of millions of Chinese people. June 21st, the summer solstice arrives. This is the time when farmers are busy weeding their fields. Eating pickles and bowls of noodles for health and longevity, this is their staple diet while working during the hot summer months. The summer solstice was one of the first solar terms to be identified. As far back as the 7th century BC, the Chinese measured shadows to calculate the length of the days and the nights. The longest day was set as the summer solstice, the shortest day the winter solstice. The 24 solar terms branched out from these two known points. The summer solstice is the longest day in the northern hemisphere, and the higher the latitude, the longer the period of sunshine. We headed to the most northern city in China. It will be much cooler than Beijing, and we get to experience China's white nights.
Well, this is it. China's most northern point, right on the border of Russia. This place is called Mohe, and we're here to experience the next solar term, which is the summer solstice, which is called Xiazhi.
This is our guide, Mr. Yang, and the driver is his son, Yang Jr.
我看了飞机人也不少，他们都过来干嘛呢？
就玩嘛，找北嘛，我们祖国最北端呢。这天都得达到11点半，1点半就亮天了，也就2个多小时多一点，哎，它就亮天了。你要有幸的，你还能看到北极光，你知道吗？我看咱俩挺有缘的，是不是？
我们俩有缘。
因为你看你光头嘛，你看这不是光头吗？都是俩光头嘛，这很有缘分。
Mohe, on the 53rd degree north latitude, used to be a simple county town. It was only made a city in June 2018. Not only does that make it China's most northern city, but also its youngest. The commercial zone might not have the bustle of a big city, but it's certainly unique.
这个是猴头，
这是猴头，
吃的。
是的，
对，这个炖蘑菇相当的好吃。这个东西是桦树蓉，在俄罗斯那边是相当的珍贵的。
这怎么吃这个？
这个是泡水喝的。
有46码的，
这46是。
多少钱一双？多少钱一双？
这个50块钱。
50块钱一双，
便宜点。
便宜点吧？这老外便宜点。
我40块钱的。
啊，40块钱，好嘞。
谢谢你啊，
谢谢啊，下次我还来。
谢谢，有包袖的吗？
But besides these local specialities, there's something far more interesting to me. The buildings here, they're very strange. Not traditionally Chinese at all, because we're very close to the Russian border. Mohe is the northernmost city in China, but it is not our final stop on this journey. We're going even deeper into the borderlands to find the very tip of China, a little village called Beihong, far north of here. If you draw a straight line from Mohe to Beihong village, it is over 130 kilometers. And it's beautiful up here in the northern latitudes, vast and empty. Birch logs stacked up.
走，白桦林，到白桦林里看看。
This kind of tree likes sunshine and grows fast, but yet is extremely cold tolerant. The summer solstice is the best time to appreciate this far-off forest land.
夏至节前是我们漠河的盛大的节日，就是各地的游客都来。21、22号，我们这嘎人就多了，得达到2、3万人。 最起码的各个小宾馆的旅店呐，你都来晚了，你根本就订不着地方，你根本就没地儿，因为夏至节北极光有可能出现，所以说大伙都来奔着看北极光，奔这儿来。
这个节气反正可以说是改变了这地区，
对，
是吧？
它这个节气改变，因为我们这个地理位置独特呀，是不是？
我看你们项目也还可以，你们有车有小宾馆。 就是通过夏至，你们这还能挣到大钱。
那是哎，就夏至节给我们带来了经济了，车也比较多，人也比较多。可是往后一天比一天就好了。
Mr. Yang and other guides do well out of summer solstice season. With the groups of visitors comes the added risk of forest fire. All these long light nights mean plenty of sunshine. The dry summer solstice means people here are under the constant threat of fires.
现在特别是夏至节这溜，人来的游客也多，防火更加紧。这家今天还旱，纯旱。
就是现在因为干。
对，你看这道全是土嘛，是不是啊？干，它防火更严。
The forest we pass along the way is probably China's most fire-prone area, which means there are fire stations every few hundred meters. Lighters and matches are completely forbidden. Mr. Yang has had to quit his long-term smoking habit.
多喝点水，我瞅瞅看。
你就一个人在这儿打工呢？
对，
没人陪你？
没人
啊？
有游客。
有游客？那你多长时间？
我1个礼拜回家1次。
你这不寂寞吗？一个人呢？
还行，
还行，
还行，挺好。现在这几年游人多了。
然后你也是去来回巡视还是？
对，绑定巡视，
就在这个林区里巡视，
一天最少得巡视4公里。
4公里
，4公里。
就来
回走，
来回那个看看有没有火情啥的。那个下雨那天有没有那个雷击火？
你这什么东西？
这是野玫瑰。
哦，野的玫瑰花。
野玫瑰，
干嘛用的？
这是喝汽水喝的，对身体有好处。
自己摘的？
自己在山上摘的，就送给你们了。
你人太好了。
行，
谢谢师傅，
谢谢，
辛苦您啊，
不辛苦啊。
我们今天就尝一尝，我再包一场。
对，再包一场啊。
你今天还得溜达绕一圈看看是吧？
还得去巡护去。
啊。
Leaving the birch forest, we drive north, chasing the summer solstice all the way. Finally, we come to the northernmost point of China, the Beihong village. This small village is surrounded by mountains, right next to the Heilong River. Everyone who comes here will take a photo in front of this stone, showing we've reached the northernmost point of China. This is a quiet land. The river guards it in silence.
老姜，咱们今晚住他家。
哦，就他家。你好。
你好。
哎，这车不错。
见过吗？
我见过。
要不然你坐他吧。
可以，肯定的。
The Beihong village is tiny, only about 500 villagers, and just the other side of the river is Russia, so about at least a quarter of the people here have Russian blood. It's cold here all year round. Although it's summer solstice, the hottest it will get is about 20 degrees Celsius, and maybe 10 degrees Celsius at night.
哎呀，
哎，你好。
叫嫂子是吧？
哎，你好，
老板娘。
哎，hello，这请这边看一下。
哇，大炕不错。Beautiful。
啊，今晚烧吗？这个？
烧，每天晚上给你烧。
For the time we'll be spending in Beihong for the summer solstice, Mr. Zhang and his wife will be taking care of our board and keep. They are locals and used to depend on farming, but now their lives have changed because of the budding tourism industry. It's made a huge difference. The road used to be really bad here, and they only had 3 hours of electricity per day. Now there's construction going on everywhere. With a smooth new road and internet access, the summer solstice tourism has opened the doors of the world to the people here. Bang on time, on June 21st, the summer solstice has arrived. At this point, the Beihong village is the best place to experience the longest day in China.
起床了，起床了，起床了。
几点了？
几点
3点，3点就这么亮啊？
我们这天亮的早。
是啊。好，走。
走。
你不冷？老郑？
也挺冷。
也挺冷。
The reason why I got up in the middle of the night is to experience the white night. The other is to take part in this, fishing. This river, running from the edge of the village, is the habitat of the rare cold water river fish. Mr. Jiang's younger brother has always relied on fishing for a living. He sold what he caught to anyone who would buy it, but it wasn't particularly profitable. Now much of what he fishes goes to his brother's hotel. The rest will be sold to the surrounding vendors. When summer solstice comes, the swelling number of hotel guests demand more and more fish. So every day, from early morning to dusk, he'll be fishing here at least 3 times a day.
能不能穿进去啊？
看不进去。
因为你脚太大了吧？
这是谁的衣服啊？张叔，就是个儿比我还矮。
脚太大。要他跨起来。这个可以放长，这个放长一点。
对对，放长。
走吧。
我就戴上这个帽子啊。
有点滑啊。
The water here isn't deep. Mr. Zhang tells me that when it's the dry season, you can simply just walk over to Russia, but the border guards are watching like hawks. When the winter comes and the ice forms, they erect a large steel fence.
你现在就是像这种天气，这种季节，你一天就是能打多少斤鱼？
这也就20多斤儿。
20多斤。
20多斤一天。
那这个网就一直做到边上的。
你有几个网呢
三四个呢。
3、4个。
3、4个。
对，那头不齐两个。
然后一个网有多长呢？
这个长了，这个得有60、70米呢。
那么长。然后
60、70米。
3个网，一共能打个20斤。
对。
Cold water fish cannot survive in water above 20 degrees Celsius. This makes the relatively cold Heilong River one of the main places for cold water fish in China. Due to the lower water temperatures, the fish grow very slowly. The meat is firmer and more tender, and it is highly nutritious. Cold water fish are delicate and die as soon as they leave the water. So they have to be processed as soon as possible after being caught to remain fresh. We're going to follow Mr. Zhang back to his house to prepare the fish that we've caught.
先把它分开。OK。
手捏着鱼头，2个手指头捏住鱼头。对，完了。
我觉得还挺紧的。老姜，你这怎么样？
对，我就是，你就拿着头，然后把这个网就
对，就是他那种在。
It's before 6 a.m. Usually, by this time, I've only just woken up and just about had my breakfast. Today, I've already caught fish and prepared them. It's an utterly different way of life.
好多鱼，想死。
纯野生冷水鱼，只有回龙江有。
现在就这样切开。
对，从后边干得快。这是用在晾鱼竿的时候就这么晾，比较好晾一点。
那个鱼内脏呢不拿出来吗？
拿着呢，从后边拿。
先把它切开。
Nothing like gutting a fish first thing in the morning.
我感觉我们城里人什么都干不了。
Fishing, preparing the fish and drying it. This is the ancestral craft of the locals here and gives tourists like me a tasty glimpse into village life. As the weather clears up, night and day become more distinct temperature-wise. Firewood used to light the stove in the kitchen in daytime warms up the cold bed at night. The kung is a unique energy system used in the northeast of China. Fish caught in the morning and cleaned by noon are served to visitors when they arrive later in the day. The lightest of cooking methods make the most of the delicate river fish flavor. The summer solstice, Beihong village has China's longest days and longest day of the year, which means that sunset to sunrise is only about 3 hours. Sunlight remains in the atmosphere though, and on the ground. So for the few days before and after, it's light around the clock. At this time of year, people call Beihong village the village that never sleeps. Just as the summer solstice has transformed the Beihong village, the 24 solar terms have not just guided Chinese cultivation since ancient times, but have also changed the lives of people in our age. From this day onwards, sunlight hours will start to decrease. But as the earth heats up, the hottest days of summer are upon us.